Welcome back to my channel. I'm Kat Saves and I'm on a mission to help you shop smarter and save money. Welcome to my brand new series. This is called Budget Food Finds. There's going to be about 5 episodes in this series and each one is going to focus on a specific type of food item or food category, and I am basically going to help you to eat smart without breaking the bank. So today we are starting with cupboard staples or pantry staples if you are in America, which is basically those essential ingredients that form the foundation of budget-friendly meals. These are things that you can keep in your cupboard for a very long time and they're not going to go off very quickly. So stick around for my top picks and where you can find them at the best prices. So what are cupboard staples? These are basically the unsung heroes of cooking. Ingredients that are versatile, have a long shelf life and are super affordable. Think of them as your secret weapon to creating quick and tasty meals on a budget. So these really are things that you want to be stocking up on because they do not go out of date very quick at all. Some things you can keep in your cupboard for literally years unopened and they are going to be absolutely fine. So if you do have the space in your kitchen or the space anywhere in your home to stock up on loads of cupboard essentials, I would definitely recommend doing that. It also means that you're never gonna run out of something. You know, if you think, oh no, I plan to have this pasta meal today and I don't have enough pasta, that's the kind of thing that you stock up on and you're gonna have tons of pasta in your cupboard ready to go. And this is also going to help stop those last minute grocery shopping runs. So let's go through a few essential cupboard staples and some of their uses. So let's start off by talking about dried goods. These are things like rice, for example. Now in the budget supermarkets like Aldi and Lidl, you can get some really cheap rice, especially, you know, Aldi have their own brand cheap rice and then they've also got their essential range, which is like budget and it's a very cheap rice. I am going to put it all on screen for you so you can compare the difference. So this is kind of where you will get the cheapest rice per item, but it's not going to be the cheapest per weight because you can only buy maybe 1 kilogram or 2 kilogram bags in shops like this. You can't really bulk buy or stock up on like huge bags of rice. For this you kind of want to go to places like Costco are going to be really good for that. I'm not going to talk too much about Costco because I know it's not like a normal supermarket. Not everyone wants a Costco card. Not everyone lives near a Costco anyway, so don't worry, I'm not going to be talking about that too much. But this is the type of place where you can really bulk buy and save a lot of money buying things like rice. And of course, you can also get it in all the normal supermarkets. If you look down the world food aisle in the big supermarkets, they often have giant bags of rice, and this is going to stay in your cupboard for a really long time. You are not going to be running out of rice anytime soon. Pasta is another really good dried food that you can stock up on, and again, in a similar way to rice, you can get these really cheap packets of pasta in the budget supermarkets, but they don't often sell huge bags. You can often only get the smaller bags of them. So it is definitely worth shopping around a little bit and seeing what deals you can get for the bigger bags of pasta or like multi-buys of pasta. I would also recommend lentils as a really good dry food that you can put in so many different things. This can go in salads, soups. You can replace meat with it in tacos, bolognese. It is so incredibly versatile. You can get this again in any supermarket. Sainsbury's do a really good one. They've got a 500 gram bag for about 60p. And I honestly think that is a great deal. It's also quite high in protein and fiber, so it is very good for you. Next up, let's talk about a few canned goods. So let's talk about chopped tomatoes. This is something that I use literally weekly. Well, I don't really cook, but my boyfriend does all the cooking. He uses it weekly. We will always get the biggest multi-pack of chopped tomatoes that we can find because we are always gonna be cooking recipes with chopped tomatoes. And again, they just last such a long time. You can buy a single tin of chopped tomatoes for about 35p from Tesco, for example. Again, they do sell it in all the supermarkets. You can get a really cheap one in Aldi, but I would typically recommend getting a multi-pack instead of getting a single tin on its own. And again, chopped tomatoes are something that you can put in pastas, curries, soups, stews, literally so many things. Let's talk about baked beans. Now, I don't know if anyone would have seen this, but Which recently did a comparison on tins of baked beans, which I thought was really interesting, and the Aldi baked beans actually came out on top as voted the best by, you know, whoever it was who did that taste test. I have no idea, but apparently the Aldi baked beans are the best, so you should really check those out. And these are something that you can get for about 20p per tin if you're just getting the beans one tin at a time, or again, get a multi-pack. I know you can get packs of 4, you can get packs of 6, and again, places like Costco, you can get loads of baked beans in bulk if that's what you really want. If that's something that you eat all the time, honestly, get it in bulk. Another tinned good that I always like to have in is tuna. I love tuna. It goes so well in sandwiches, in pasta, in salad. Again, it's very versatile. It's a great source of protein, and this is something I will always buy in bulk, because what is even the point in getting one of those little tins of tuna on their own? You might as well just get the big multi-pack. You get so much more for your money, and it just works out a lot cheaper for you in the long run. Let's also talk about seasonings and sauces. Now, I could stay on this topic for days because our fridge is literally full of condiments and sauces. We just have like every type of condiment you could ever imagine. Let's just talk about some of the basic seasonings and sauces. And let's start off with salt and pepper. You can get table salt and ground black pepper really cheap, and these are the two seasonings. If you don't have any other seasonings, if you hate seasoning your food, salt and pepper salt and pepper are the seasoning that you need to be putting on your food, if nothing else. But with things like table salt, you can get them in those really big tubs. They're like this big, pretty big tubs, and again, you're going to be using it probably every single day. In most meals, you're going to be putting salt and pepper in it, so it is well worth getting the biggest tub that you can find. One sauce that we commonly use in our cooking is soy sauce. Now, the price of soy sauce can massively vary. I've seen some branded soy sauces for like £3 a bottle, but you could get a very cheap version for about 59p from Lidl, and it is going to taste relatively the same, especially if you are mixing it in with other things. It's unlikely you are going to be, you know, just eating soy sauce on its own. You are going to be mixing it in with other ingredients in your cooking. So when it does come to sauces like this, it is well worth having a look in the budget supermarkets and also in the supermarket budget ranges of the big supermarkets. So when it comes to shopping for sauces, it is well worth looking for the cheaper option, because sometimes the ingredients are either exactly the same as the branded version, or they are just very similar, and you might not even taste the difference anyway. So I would go for the cheaper options, try them out and see if you like them before splurging on some of the more expensive brands. And one last cupboard essential that I want to talk about is stock cubes. Stock cubes, again, is something that we're going to use all the time, and they can just sit in the cupboard for weeks, if not months, I'm pretty sure. Now, I personally do most of my shopping in Tesco, and I really like to buy this huge 20 pack of chicken stock cubes. So we buy these maybe a couple of times a year, and that is good for us. And this is an example of where the bigger pack is better value for money, because it is going to cost you less in terms of weight than if you were going to get the smaller pack. So I would definitely recommend, if you're buying something like stock cubes, to always get the bigger pack. So where are the best places to find the best deals and best prices? When it comes to budget shopping, places like Aldi and Lidl are going to be the best for the cheapest options. However, these shops don't always have all the products that you're looking for. I think the ranges in these shops are quite limited, whereas if you were going to go to one of the big supermarkets, I'm pretty sure Asda, Morrisons, Sainsbury's and Tesco all do Aldi price match now, or Aldi and Lidl price match, which is really good. So it is definitely worth checking out all of the supermarkets. Like I said before, shop around a little bit, do a little bit of research on where you can get the best prices, because these big stores have some really good value ranges where the prices are pretty much the same as Aldi and Lidl, and maybe the quality might be a little bit better. And remember, you can usually save a lot of money by going for the supermarket own brand items rather than the branded ones. And it is well worth doing your own comparisons, but remember that prices do change all the time. It is also a great idea to get the loyalty card or the membership card from anywhere. Like, I have the loyalty card from every every single supermarket, even if I don't even use it that often. I'm pretty sure I've got a Waitrose membership card that I have literally never used, but I've got it just in case I go into a Waitrose and I want to use it. And this is just a really easy way that you might get a really good deal that you wouldn't have otherwise got if you didn't have the loyalty card for that shop. So let's talk about some tips on how to stretch your budget for cupboard essentials. Number one is to buy in bulk and store smart. Buying cupboard items in bulk, like I said before, often reduces the cost per unit, especially for items like rice, pasta, dried beans, anything in a tin. However, it is important to store these ingredients properly to prevent spoilage or waste. For example, pasta and rice. Stores like Costco and online retailers like Amazon offer large bags at lower per unit costs. For example, Costco's 5 kg bag of Tilda rice is a great bulk option for families or those who cook rice often. And a storage tip for this would be to keep the rice, flour, pasta in airtight containers to prevent moisture and pests from ruining them. So you might open the bag and just leave it open in your cupboard, and you might think this is absolutely fine because, you know, it's not going to go off. It's not the kind of thing that's going to go soft, not very easily anyway, but it is definitely worth putting it in an airtight container just to keep it the best quality that you can rather than leaving it out in the open. You can use glass jars or plastic containers to maintain freshness, but make sure you label your containers with the date of purchase so you can keep track of how long you've had them. And just remember, if you are filling up a container full of rice, for example, you don't want to be eating half of the container then filling it up to the top with fresh new rice and you've got all that old rice at the bottom. So you want to make sure you're kind of switching it around and keeping the fresh stuff till last and keeping the stuff you've had longer at the front that you're going to use first. And a little bonus tip, if you buy herbs and spices in bulk, store them in a cool, dark place because light and heat can degrade the flavour over time. Tip number 2 is to cook in batches and freeze leftovers. Cooking large portions of meals using your cupboard staples such as chili con carne or a spaghetti bolognese and then freezing the extras can help you avoid food waste and save money by not having to cook every day. This is particularly useful for soups, stews and sauces. A few meal ideas might include a lentil curry. You can make a big batch of lentil curry using chopped tomatoes, lentils and spices and then freeze individual portions for future meals. And when you are freezing all of this leftover food, make sure you are using freezer safe containers or resealable bags and remove as much air as possible to prevent freezer burn. Make sure you label and date the containers to keep track of what's in your freezer, and if you have limited freezer space, consider freezing liquids like soups or sauces flat in freezer bags to save room. To save money when you are shopping and potentially overbuying, make sure you are planning your meals around your cupboard essentials. Meal planning really helps you to get the most out of your cupboard ingredients and ensures that nothing goes to waste. Plan meals around your cupboard staples first, then fill the gaps with fresh produce or other items. For example, a really easy meal that I like to make is a burrito bowl because, you know, you're using rice, you're using canned beans, you're using spices. This is a really good easy meal. And then we can just add extras to it. We can add the meat, we can add some red peppers, red onion and fresh things like that. And try to plan meals that use overlapping ingredients. For example, if you open a can of beans for your burrito bowl, use the rest in a salad or a soup later in the week so you are not wasting anything. You could also try a cupboard challenge or a pantry challenge. And this is where you basically aim to use only ingredients you already have for a week before doing another shop. This not only saves money but also helps you creatively use up everything that you've bought. Make sure you are keeping an eye out on supermarket offers and you are using the apps. This is such an easy way to save money on the things that you are already going to buy anyway. Just keep a lookout on all of the apps, if they've got any deals, if they've got any multi-buys on at the moment. If you have the loyalty card, for example, the club card might get you club card offers on certain things that you were already going to buy anyway. And you also might have some coupons in the app that you weren't even aware of. A few apps that I would recommend are Too Good To Go. This app lets you buy surplus food from local shops and restaurants at a reduced price, which can help with fresh ingredients to complement pantry staples. Another great one is Shopmium, and Checkout Smart. These offer cashback or coupons on certain supermarket purchases. Check regularly for discounts on long life items like canned goods or pasta. And of course, supermarket loyalty cards. You should have a loyalty card for every single supermarket. These will always provide discounts or cashback for regular shoppers. It is so important to be stocking up on the most affordable cupboard essentials that you're going to use all the time. Now, please do take this video with a pinch of salt and apply it to your own situation. I talked a lot about rice in this video, but if you don't like eating rice, then obviously you can completely disregard that. But the points are obviously going to be the same. If you like eating a lot of pasta, stock up on a lot of pasta. If you know you're going to eat beans, kidney beans, black beans, cannellini beans, things like that. If you eat a lot of those, stock up on those, look for the deals on those. So definitely apply all of my tips to your own personal situation and what you like to eat. Please leave me a comment below telling me your favorite cupboard essential. What do you like to eat the most? What do you really like to stock up on? And make sure to like this video and subscribe and hit the notification bell as well, because I have got more episodes in this series coming out every single week. So make sure you are getting notified for when I upload those videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in part 2.